Greetings to everyone. I am Professor Suraj Mishra, and in today's lecture from the subject Energy and Environmental Engineering, our topic of discussion is Introduction to Energy Sciences. Here we will be discussing about definitions and overview of energy system. We will also study about fossil fuels and alternative for the fossil fuels, starting with the definition. Energy is the capacity to do work. Also, energy is the driver of growth. An international study on the human development indicates that India needs much larger per capita energy consumption to provide better living conditions to its citizens. But such growth has to be balanced and sustainable. Human energy consumption has grown steadily throughout the human history. So here now the question arises, why is energy consumption increasing? So for a nation like India, which has made impressive progress in the field of industry, agriculture, communication, transport and other sectors, a huge amount of energy is required for development and economic activities. And to run this industry, we require fuel as a form of energy. So the matter that stores energy is called fuel. Most of the energy that we use today comes from the fossil fuels such as coal, natural gas, petroleum, and these fossil fuels will remain a dominant energy source for at least another 2 to 3 decades. But fossil fuels have a disadvantage that they are non-renewable in nature, which means once our fossil fuel reserves are depleted, then it will take hundreds of millions of years for their renewal or regeneration, which brings us to the conclusion that we need to switch towards some alternative energy sources which are renewable in nature, such as biomass energy, solar energy, wind energy, geothermal energy, and other renewable energy sources. The entire overview of energy systems can be classified into two broad categories. First one is renewable resources and second one is non-renewable resources. Starting with the definition, renewable energy is energy obtained from the sources that are essentially inexhaustible. For example, wind energy. It can never be exhausted. It will be there for always. Another example, solar power, geothermal energy, tidal power, and hydel power. See the figures? So the most important feature of renewable energy is that it can be harnessed without release of harmful pollutants. Whereas, on the other hand, the non-renewable energy is the conventional fossil fuels such as coal, oil, petroleum, natural gas, which are likely to deplete with time. As we can see from the figure, that the sources of energy can also be classified into two categories, namely conventional sources and non-conventional sources. So let's start with the definition. The energy sources which are widely used in our day-to-day life are known as conventional or traditional energy sources. For example, plant, animal and agricultural waste, they comes under the conventional energy source. Whereas non-conventional energy sources are defined as the energy sources which are not being widely used in our day-to-day life, such as solar energy, geothermal energy, tidal energy, wind energy, ocean thermal energy, hydrogen, natural gas, and many more forms of energy yet to be explored. Here in this slide, we will be discussing one by one about different energy sources, starting with the solar energy. It is a renewable source of energy. The sun has been radiating enormous amount of energy, and it will continue to radiating the same rate of energy for billions of years more. Thermal devices capture heat energy from the solar radiations. The thermal device such as the solar photovoltaic cell technologies, which enable the direct conversion of sunlight into electricity, which can be used to run pumps, light, refrigerator, TV, etc. Also, solar panel can be used to convert the sunlight into solar energy using N-type and P-type semiconductor materials. When the sunlight is absorbed by these materials, the solar energy produces, allowing electrons to flow through the material and thus producing electricity. The process of converting light to electricity is called photovoltaic effect. Wind energy, as we already know that the unequal heating of land masses and water bodies by the solar radiation generates the air movement, and this pressure difference causes the wind to blow. This kinetic energy of the wind can be used to do the work, and this wind energy is harnessed by windmills. To rotate the turbine of the windmill, the wind speed should be higher than 15 km per hour to maintain the speed. This wind energy is used to produce electricity by converting the kinetic energy of air into motion into electricity. Biomass. It is the term for energy from the plants. How does it works? Plant absorbs sun's energy in the process called photosynthesis, and the biomass contains stored energy from the sun. Burning the biomass is the only way to release its energy as a heat. What are the types of biomass? Wood, crops, rice husk, coconut shell, cotton. These are examples of biomass. Sources including large quantities of cattle dung, in the bioenergy technologies, example biogas, gasifier, biogas combustion, etc. Biomass is a renewable energy source because we can grow more and more trees and crops. Fossil fuel is an example of non renewable energy resources. A fossil fuel is formed by a natural process. It can take millions of years for its formation beneath the earth crust. Talking about the Indian energy scenario, in India, the primary source of energy, coal has the largest share, around 60%. Then oil and natural gas, around 35%. Then hydroelectric power, thermal power, and nuclear power all together contributes to the 5% of the energy required by India. Some example of fossil fuels are coal, natural gas, petroleum. Some prediction expect that the share of non-fossil fuel energy will increase and the fossil fuel energy will decline. Coal, once dug in the mines, coal is washed to remove the impurities. The production of coal is concentrated in the states such as Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and many more places. The larger amount of carbon content in the coal, the more energy it releases. Based on that, coal is categorized into 4 categories. The more potent coal is named as anthracite, in which the carbon content is around 86 to 97%, followed by lignite coal, followed by bituminous coal, and followed by subbituminous coal. Coal is majorly used in steel production and electricity production. Under the high pressure and high temperature, dead vegetation is slowly converted into coal, and this process is called as carbonization. Another fossil fuel, oil. Petroleum is also known as crude oil or simply oil. Saudi Arabia had the largest share of this crude oil, almost around 23%. And our India is one of the top 10 oil guzzling nations in the world. Around 70% of crude oil need of India is imported from the Gulf nations. Fractional distillation of crude oil is performed to obtain various petroleum products such as bitumen, which is used in road construction, lubricating oil, which is used in engines of the vehicles, fuel oil, which is used in ship. Fractional distillation of crude oil provides diesel, which is used in high power engine such as trucks, paraffin, which is used as a fuel in aeroplane, gasoline or petrol is obtained from the fractional distillation of crude oil. This gasoline or petrol is used in light vehicles such as car or bike, and Petroleum gas LPG is also obtained from the fractional distillation of crude oil. This LPG is used in household cooking. As we are aware that the fossil fuel will soon be depleted, so the remedies and alternative for the fossil fuels are already being explored, in which we are studying today hydrogen energy. Hydrogen energy uses element hydrogen as an energy source or carrier, converting it into electricity, heat, or chemical product. Hydrogen is a clean fuel which, when consumed in the fuel cell, only produces water as a byproduct. Hydrogen energy is a renewable source of energy. It is a very clean source of energy. It is far more efficient than other sources of energy, and in fact, it is 3 times more potent than gasoline and other fossil fuel based fuels. And the disadvantages is that the hydrogen is not the safest source of energy because it is hugely inflammable. It needs to be stored and transported under high pressure. It also lacks a smell, which makes any leak detection almost impossible.